Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Zelensky is ready to resign. Wow. Now, is it good? Is it bad? And he thinks that by resigning, he's just going to, let's say, if he resigns, will have a peaceful life after this with his, I suspect, money that he's got from. All right. So I got here 3 articles. 2 coming from the Ukrainians, 1 coming from the Russians. And let's see what this cornered rat is saying and what could be the consequences. First, he thinks that he's going to get his luggage and go, and I don't think so. So let's start with the Russian article first. Russia Today, the 23rd of February 2025. Zelensky says he's ready to resign. The Ukrainian leader, these guys keep calling this guy Ukrainian, has said he is ready to step down if it means an end to the conflict with Russia. Isn't that fantastic? He is a sacrificial goat, or however you want to call it. Like always. This reminds me of a movie. I usually don't watch movies. My time of watching movies was when I was 15 to about 19. And then from time to time, sporadically. Why? They're insulting. But nevertheless, I'm going to tell you this about this movie. It's called The Enemy at the Gate. And this movie was about the encirclement of Stalingrad, the blockade over there by the evil Nazis and its allies against the Russians and so on. And in that movie, you had actually Mr. Yatsev. I think that's what's his name, Yatsev. It was I don't know if that was a real name in the movie, but they were talking about a most famous Soviet sniper. I think his name is Yatsev. And Yatsev, why? Because Yatsev is a rabbit, I think, in Russian. So this Yatsev had, I don't know how many confirmed kills and so on as a sniper in the Soviet army. A peasant and so on. So in this movie, there's a fight between obviously the evil Baron, the German Baron sniper, and this peasant communist Yatsev. And his help, Yatsev, at the end, obviously will win against nobility. And I'm not defending the Baron, but he has to be a Baron and so on. So wins about this refined German sniper with schnapps and cognac and, all right, clean cut, by the sacrifice of one of his comrades. And his comrades was a Jew. He was a commissar in the Soviet army. And Yatsev could not pinpoint where the Baron, I don't know, Heinrich, let's call him Heinrich, I can't remember his name. So Yatsev was trying, couldn't figure out where the Baron was waiting. And then the commissar, the Jewish commissars, remember, the commissars were bad in Soviet Union, but this one was a good one because it was a good representation putting them together in those clothes. Because go and read Gulag Archipelago by Solzhenitsyn, Alexander Solzhenitsyn, and you're gonna get a clue who was who and what was what. Shh, you can't say that in America too much. So, and this guy is just the commissar sacrifices himself for a good cause outside of him. He just exposes himself. Sorry, I'm going to get out of this. Exposes himself out, and then the Baron, bam! And this guy, the commissar, dies of sacrifice. But then Mr. Yatsev figured out where this Baron was located. And then eventually Yatsev picks up the Baron because of the big sacrifice of these people. They always sacrifice for us. Always. Watch the Hollywood movies, that's the propaganda that's going to be regimented in your heads. They're always more moral than you, and they will always sacrifice. Who got us in the Ukraine war in the first place? Fucker. Not Meet the Fuckers, the movie, Again, another Zelensky-Stein co-production over there, or production, with Ben Stiller and all those guys. Oh my God, it's all the Cohens and the Steins and the Manns. Anyway, so let's read further. So remember, he sacrificed. He's willing to sacrifice himself for the Ukrainian nation that he would step down. Didn't you institute martial law? Didn't you Weren't you the one who said we should not negotiate with those guys for 3 years? And now you said, I'm sacrificing myself, give me my luggage with money, dollar, and we're going to do the dollar and gold in his teeth, go and retire in, I don't know, London or New York. Isn't he the one? So, no boy. And besides, remember Reznikov? If you don't, I will remind you about Reznikov. And if you didn't know, I will let you know about him. So Reznikov was the defense minister of the Ukrainians. He was also in the four little pigs that I called then. It was Zelensky Stein, Zhmyhal Stein, the prime minister of the Ukrainian nation. It was Reznikov Stein, he was a defense minister. And then it was Yermak Stein, the chief of the Zelensky, the president's office. All these little pigs were all Ukrainians. All right. So Mr. Reznikov, after he got his things, he left, and nobody asks, where is he? Where is he? Well, he, how is that, aborted ship? He just abandoned ship when time was right. This guy tries again, go in the sewer right now, sewer of London. And I'm saying that clearly. And New York. The first time I saw, and I think the only time I saw a rat, a real rat, in the United States of America was in the New York subways. The only time in New York, dirty, smelly. Anyway, but that's their vision of a city for you and I, not our, So here it is, my friends. He wants to resign for us. He sacrifices. If that means a just peace, kill me, give me death, or give me liberty. My God, it makes me vomit. This is what he says. If peace for Ukraine, if you really need me to leave my post, then I'm ready. I can exchange this for NATO. If there are such conditions, I am focusing on the security of Ukraine today, not in 20 years. I do not intend to be in power for decades. But for what? For centuries? By the time these guys are going to bring some... Anyway, where is the money? Where is the money, remember? Where is the money? Next one, from the Ukrainians. Zelensky, double Y. I'm ready to step down as president for peace or in return for NATO membership. This is another Moses for us. Remember, and if you don't remember, Moses is hailed as being, the guy with the 10 commandments that came from God, he gave us this, blah, 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 blah. But do you know Moses? Do you know that Moses, as the order of his boss, he committed genocide? You don't know that? Well, I wrote 2 books on that. Go and find them on Amazon. All right? So, the God's Nature, that's how the books are called. 2 little volumes, very cheap, very good. I think, why? They're over there for people to see the other side of the God. So Moses was instructed by the boss that gave him the commandments, okay? Was instructed to take care of the Amorites or Amorites, Canaanites, and he did. And they always took the virgins with them. I wonder why. After they flattened a city-state over there, how you want to call it, in those times, he was instructed by, he knew what he meant, not the virgins, the women, the females that did not have, you keep them for yourself. I wonder for why, for what reason? Do you think they worked harder in the field or goating, shepherding, shepherd, I think that was why they kept the virgins, were a little bit better than everybody else, or they were kept for, let's say, slaves. What do you think? I think the second option. So again, and going to Moses. When I visited in the United States of America, how do you call that? The Supreme Court building in Washington, D.C. You enter in, you can visit it. And in the main hall over there, that's all the murals, paintings. And over there, big guy Moses with the laws. I mean, they always make up, these guys are always, ooh. Anyway, let's go to the next one. So there, he's ready to sacrifice himself. Ukraine form. Zelensky says ready to step down if it means peace for Ukraine and for world. Now my question is, do you remember when the Russians were not invited to any negotiations? I think they had 2 of them. One, I think it was in Switzerland, if I remember correctly, or Germany, I think Switzerland, and the other one was in Saudi Arabia. Remember? So you didn't care about that. Now you care. I'm going to step down. It's not you. So please, my friends, do not fall for this. And I know you don't fall for this because you're with me here. Otherwise, you will be with Ben Shapiro and others who will tell you, So here it is. The guy, Zelensky, is unimportant. He is, how do you call it, quantitate negligible. You know, that you don't need it. It's a small quantity. Just ignore it. Because, as I remember, a friend of mine told me, he said, I said, why do you keep these guys? He owned a company. I said, why do you keep these guys here, man? I mean, they call in sick. They don't come to work. They are drunk. They didn't have money for that, but they have other things at that time. And I said, why do you keep these guys? And he said, you know what? And he picked up a cup of coffee. He was not cup of coffee, a foam cup of coffee, to-go cup of coffee. And he said, you see this? He said, this is a shed. And you see this? This is one shed with a face. And then he's turning it around and said, this is another face, but it's the same shed. So the same with Zelensky. And I said, oh, okay. So he said, if I hire someone to work here for me, it's probably going to be the same shed with a different face. So is Zelensky thinking that if he's going to go away, oh my God, everything crumbles? You have to be very paranoid and very narcissistic individual to think that everything crumbles. Or if I am the kingpin right here, if I just let it go, everything will be just, I'm going to sacrifice. Shoot me, like Napoleon did. Remember when Napoleon came from the Elba, when he was exiled the first time in Elba island in the Mediterranean Sea? He came back, and when he landed in France with, I don't know, 200 people or something, or 80 people, I can't remember, 200, let's say 200. The Bourbons, you know, not those, the Bourbons, and their jackals, they sent the French army to Napoleon, stop Napoleon. And when they met, Napoleon stepped. Now look at this. He stepped in front of all his guys, like our leaders do now. His guys remained in the back. He met the guys and he said, if one of you want to shoot their emperor, go ahead. If any of you want to shoot the emperor, go ahead. You know what happened? They joined him, went to Paris, and then he ruled for about, I don't know how many more days, 90 days, whatever it was, and so on. So that's what he did. So this is exactly this Churchill, I don't put Churchill with Napoleon whatsoever, but they conflate him. Not even, I mean, Churchill and Zelensky have a few things in common. One of them, they both bankrupted and destroyed two countries, two nations. Churchill destroyed the English empire, bankrupted, fuck up, and then, we defeated the Germans, but you didn't defeat the greater evil, which was Soviet Union, greater based on crimes, okay? Not only that, they took over Eastern Europe, allowed by Churchill. So anyway, so then that's the first one. They bankrupted a country, they destroyed a country. This is what they have in common. And the other one, they were helped and promoted by the same, I have an each here, by the same guys. All right, so that is him. Don't fall for that. It's gonna be another shit who's gonna do something. I am bringing peace. You're not a token in any negotiations. Bang out. So that's it, my friends. That's it. And remember, he didn't try to negotiate with Putin all this time. No, he thinks of himself to be a important individual. He's just a former comedian who was promoted, remember, to be a candidate. He won. I wonder who counted the votes and who sponsored him. Kolokovsky, was it? As I call him, colonoscopy. That now he imprisoned. He's not in prison. So that's Jewish as well. Anyway, so he imprisoned his former guy. I don't think he imprisoned. I think he gave him protection so he's not gonna be boom, boom, boom by his Kolokovsky's enemy. It's just a gut feeling, the way I see world spinning around. No, don't worry. If there's Zelensky or there's no Zelensky, the sun will also rise and set. Everything will be maybe better. But what do you think will happen next with Zelensky? Zelensky would not step down. And even if he steps down, he should be grabbed and then should be prosecuted, indicted, prosecuted, and then I think convicted, and then get the penalty he, I think, deserves for getting Ukraine into something like this with the Russians. And it's not that he did that. How many people died because of this garbage who did not like anything about the Minsk agreements 1 or 2, which were steps agreed upon by the country, by Ukraine and Russia, Germany and France, and Poland at one point, to implement steps to bring a peace to Donbass. And he said, I don't like anything about it. But he was a candidate of peace. And then the war broke out in over there. The Russians, the evil Russians, just attacked unprovoked, and just because they want to be an empire again, we're told. So Zelensky, get up off. But I will look for all these guys. Zaluzny is for good keeping in London by the guys. You don't do anything, Zaluzny, right? He might be the good guy. Zaluzny, I always had a soft something with Zaluzny. Not that kind of, but Zaluzny. He didn't run. He was pushed out. And he's in London under surveillance. That's what I think. Supervision and what do you want to call. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, this rat thinks very highly about himself, very much. I mean, he should have some reasons, but not for the good reasons. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.